Have you ever thought that what would happen if all the technology around you vanishes in a single second? If the gadgets you are using don't work at all? Your fridge, the TV, the internet, your phone, nothing works? How would you live your life? What changes would you observe in your life then? Today, we are going to see a movie which tells us the answers to these questions. Welcome back to our channel, Film Booth Recap. Today I am going to explain to you a Japanese survival movie by the name Survival Family. The movie starts with a scene in Tokyo, where we see everybody is busy in their own lives, and then we are shown the Suzuki family. We see that Yoshi, the head of the family, comes from the office, tired, and starts munching. The kids in the family, Kinji and Yui, are busy with their own gadgets like Walkman and mobile. Their mother, Michi, is busy preparing food for them. Here, we can see that the entire family of four is busy with their own mobiles, laptops, Walkman, or other gadgets, but actually they do not spend much time talking to each other. This is a very similar scenario even in our families today. The next morning, when Yoshi wakes up, he looks at the alarm clock which was not working at all. He realizes that he got late for the office and hurriedly starts getting ready. His wife tells him that none of the clocks in the home is working properly. Yoshi feels surprised hearing this and tries to switch on the lights, but even the lights were not working. In the meantime, Yui wakes up and comes out in the drawing room, and suddenly she remembers that her phone was put on charging. She hurries to the bedroom and finds out that the phone battery is dead as there was no electricity. Ignoring these problems, everybody reaches out to the lift so that they may go to their work, but even the lifts are not working as there is no power in the apartment. Then, they all start climbing down the squares of the building. Yoshi, who is already late for the office, reaches the metro train station to catch the train and finds out that a huge crowd is already waiting for the train. But because of the power outage, trains were not running that day. Then Yoshi comes out of the station and looks for a cab so that he may reach the office. But he finds out that even cabs are not working as they were powered by fuel power or electricity or battery power. On the other hand, we see Kinji, who was going to the school on his bicycle, getting surprised to see the scene on the roads. As there was a huge crowd trying to get into the cabs, but none of them were getting any cab at all. And professional people were walking on foot to their workplace. The professional people feel jealous by seeing Kenji riding a bicycle, as today they are not even having a bicycle, but walk on the foot to the office. Next, we see Yoshi reaching his office after much struggle, but finds out that there is no power in the office itself. The office staff somehow get entry inside the office by breaking the main door. But since there was no power, it was all dark inside the office, and computers, telephone, nothing was working. Back at home, Michi sees some of her neighbors, who tell her that they are going to the market to buy some candles as there is no power in the apartment. Michi decides that she should also go and buy some stuff from the supermarket. At the supermarket, Michi sees that people are panic buying all the stuff they can lay their hands upon. She also buys some candles and water bottles, but then the cashier announces that the only mode of payment today would be cash and no cards, as there is no electricity. In the office, we see Yoshi sitting idle along with his staff members, and the boss tells them to leave for the day as it's of no use sitting there. Yoshi leaves the office and starts walking toward home, and sees that people are buying cycles at a hefty price. Yoshi, though reluctant, buys a cycle at an inflated price as there is no car or bike running in the city. He reaches his home on the cycle, and at night they all have dinner under candle lights and go to sleep. But since they didn't have any of the phones or gadgets which they were used to, they couldn't sleep properly and gathered on the balcony, looking at the star-studded sky above. We see that the Suzuki family is spending time together after a very long time when they are together and appreciating the stars and sky together. Another 3 days pass like this, and then when Yoshi reaches his office, his boss tells everyone that they all should go back home and come only once the power is back. He tells them that they should go and spend time with their families. Yoshi questions the boss that if they don't work, how will they survive? How will they take care of the expenses of their daily life? His boss advises him to think of spending time with family and not be bothered about earning at this moment. He asks his boss where he is going. The boss tells him that he is going to his native village along with his family, so that he may not face any water shortage there. As a result of the power outage, there is no water supply in the city at all. And people are going crazy for water. We see Miji also trying to fetch some water from a nearby water pump, but the officers there say there is no water in the tanks at all. It is the 7th day and the situation is getting worse. There is no on the roads, no food in the market, no children in schools, and there was absolutely nothing. Entire Tokyo was looking like a ghost town. Yoshi decides that tomorrow he will start for his native village along with his family. The next day, the entire family sets out on bicycles to their village. On the way, they find a person selling water bottles that were very expensive. Though expensive, they buy few water bottles from him. They then stop at a place and take a meal and then head towards the airport. But since the power outage was there, even the airports were not functional. They were disappointed and finds a place to spend the night. They take a room in a hotel which also does not have electricity. At night, Michi says that they should go back to Tokyo, to which Yoshi says there is nothing left in Tokyo, no food, no water, and that they will continue towards their village Kagoshima on cycles. The next day, they buy some wine bottles and a cycle for Michi, and Yoi buys a map. With the help of the map, they go to the highway where they find a huge crowd already on the road moving toward their native villages. Suzuki family continues their journey along with the crowd and stops at a place where they put up a tent and start resting. A couple comes near them and begs for water. Though the Suzuki family had water with them, they refuse, saying they don't have water. They spend the night at the same spot and in the morning reach a tunnel where they find a lot of dead bodies. Looking at the dead bodies, Michi gets shocked and an old lady guides them out of the tunnel. And we see now it's the 17th day of the power outage. And the Suzuki family reaches near a river and halts there. They were out of drinking water and were very tired. Unable to control his thirst, Yoshi goes into the river and quenches his thirst by drinking river water that was not drinkable. Then they all move forward, where they face a huge rainstorm and they take shelter under a flyover. After the storm finishes, they find that they have incurred huge losses, as all the food items and even their cycles were broken in the storm. The situation was getting dire. They halt at a place where both the kids go to a mall to pick up some food, but couldn't find any foodstuff suitable for humans. They can only lay hands upon cat food. They pick that up and come back. When they try to eat the cat food, Yoi vomits. But despite that, they eat the cat food and continue to travel towards the village. Now we see that they had been traveling for the last 22 days. On the way, they meet a few campers who were having good food, and Yoshi feels jealous of them as they had been eating cat food for some time now to survive. Yoshi removes the labels from the canned cat food so that the campers don't see that the Suzuki family is eating that. Then the campers show them how they can eat edible plants around the highway. The Suzuki family feels relieved and they become friends. They continue traveling together for some time, but they had to part ways soon to continue their respective journeys. Then they continue the journey for some more days, and one day reaches an aquarium shop where people were eating fishes from the aquarium after cooking them. Yoshi begs for the food, but the owner doesn't give them food, stating that the food is over now. Here the Suzuki family repents that they should also have given water to the couple who begged for water from them. Anyways, they continue their journey without food and water for many days. Then we see that it's the 67th day of the power outage and the Suzuki family is in bad shape. Yoshi was about to eat an insect out of hunger when he notices a pig near the river. The entire family tries their best to catch the pig for food, and ultimately Yoshi kills the pig and feels happy that now they will have good food. But when it comes to cutting the pig, they can't do that as they had no training. There we see an old man comes up and cuts the pig and takes the family to his home nearby. At his home, they all see a hand pump from where they drink lots of water and feels obliged to the old man. The old man also gives them food to eat. Then the old man cuts the entire pig and cooks it with the Suzuki family. At night he gives them space to sleep and also shows them the pics of his children. Here we come to know that this old man was the father of the same man who begged for water from Yoshi. Yoshi and his family didn't give even a single drop to them, and the father of the same guy gave him food, water, and shelter. The next morning, the old man gives them not only the cooked pig but also a couple of other food items for their journey ahead. The family continues moving forward and comes across a big river. Kenji has mistakenly taken the wrong path and therefore they get stuck in front of a big river. The family together makes up a raft and crosses the river. While they were crossing the river, it starts raining heavily. Yoshi and Kenji again try to come back to take the cycles this time. But by this time, the flow of the river had increased like anything and Yoshi gets drowned in the river. Kenji tries his best to save him but couldn't do anything to save Yoshi. After the rain stops, Kenji again tries to look for his father but only gets hold of a piece of wig that Yoshi used to wear. It has been now 94 days since the power outage, and the family is now walking on the tracks of the railway. While crossing the tracks, they get surrounded by another big problem. A couple of wild dogs smell the roasted pig in the bag and attack them. In the process of avoiding being bitten by the dogs, Midji falls into the ditch and gets her leg fractured. Both the children get terrified looking at her fractured leg. But then they get a sigh of relief when a steam-powered train comes in front of them and halts. They all board the train. In the other scene, we see that Yoshi has now been thrown to the river banks by the river water. And he gains consciousness. He tries to cross the field and takes some rest against a tractor. Then Yoshi sees the steam train crossing him. He immediately takes out a flare gun and sends a signal for help. This gets noticed by Midji and the kids. They run towards Yoshi and once again all of them are together safely in the train. Then we see, after 108 days, they reach Midji's father's place where her father was fishing with a rod. Everyone feels happy to be reunited after a long time. And after so much struggle. Then the scene shifts, and we come to know that it's been more than 2 years since the power outage has happened. And by this time everyone is happy doing farming and fishing and eating organically grown food by themselves. They were happy being with each other, without the internet, without phones. They were spending time together, working together, and living a healthy life. Then one day Yoshi hears the clock alarm once again and finds out that power is back in the city. Now the power has been restored. But they were not feeling happy seeing this, as now they had to live the same monotonous life once again in the city with the internet and mobiles. They come back to Tokyo and start living once again there. And we come to know the reason behind the power outage. It was because of a huge solar flare that spiked up and caused a power outage in the entire world. Now we see the Suzuki family live happily together and spend more time with each other rather than getting stuck in their mobiles and laptops. Friends, this movie has been beautifully made and it shows us how important it is to be self-reliant and talk to each other and spend time with each other rather than keep burying our faces inside mobiles and laptops. That was all from the video. I hope you liked it. Please subscribe for more such awesome movie recaps and click the bell icon so that you get the notification whenever we post a video.